I'll move on to a related matter. You might remember in the last round of Senate estimates, I asked you about this practice of Western police forces being weaponised by offshore entities to be used against dissidents, political dissidents, and identified one case study where Drew Pavlou had a fake email created in his name and sent to UK police with a fake bomb threat against the Chinese embassy, and he was arrested and detained, subsequently exonerated. I asked you if you were aware of that had happened in Australia, and you said that it hadn't, and I also asked if, certainly not in the case of the AFP, and I asked if you're aware it happened with any state police forces, and you said you weren't aware. 60 Minutes also, in that same episode, had a very concerning example of that relating to Mr Andrew Phelan. Are you familiar with that?
I'm familiar with the reporting, Senator.
Yeah. So Mr Phelan had a virtually identical incident happen to him. A fake email was created in his name. It sent highly abusive and threatening emails to, in this instance, I believe, a female journalist. That was reported to the police. He was visited by police in his home, where he was caring for his elderly mother. He was arrested. He was taken in for questioning for some period of time, and eventually I think the police arrived at the view that he was not guilty and he's not been charged with any offence. I think in fact they've apologised to him. So you weren't familiar with that case when I asked you some questions about it in estimates?
I wasn't overly familiar with that case, but I'm more familiar with that case now, Senator.
When you say overly familiar, did you have some awareness of it?
I had some awareness of it.
That's not my... I'll have to go back and check the Hansard, but I thought you were fairly categorical when I asked you about it in estimates about whether you were aware if this had ever happened. I think you said no, that you weren't aware. I think
I'd have to check myself, Senator, but I think in the context in terms of in a general occurrence, I said no, that's not occurring.
Yeah, because it has happened. And Mr Phelan advises me that before I asked you those questions in estimates and before 60 Minutes aired, he reported this to the National Security Hotline. He reported what happened to him to the National Security Hotline. Was that ever referred to the AFP?
I'd have to take that on notice, Senator.
Because it would be concerning to me if an Australian citizen had reported to the National Security Hotline an instance of weaponisation of our own police forces, almost certainly by a foreign state, and it didn't find its way to you. Surely that would be something that should be brought to your attention.
Sure. So, Senator, I think we've still got 2 hours to go, so I'll try and find that information out before the end. If not, I'll take that on notice for you.
I would be grateful for that. And just quickly, while I have a little bit of time left, I'd be interested whether there are any reflections on this experience. One of the things we discussed at the last estimates was that state police forces, by their very nature, won't have the same level of expertise about foreign interference and espionage that the AFP does, and whether or not there was any training or cooperation from the AFP with your state counterparts. What can you tell me about the state of that cooperation and raising awareness about these issues?
Yeah, I think it's increasing, and it needs to increase. And again, I think the Commissioner himself has been involved in briefings with the respective commissioners in state and territory police. We've briefed in all of the deputy commissioners, and I think I explained last time, Senator, the natural fit is the joint counter-terrorism teams because of the set relationships that we have with the state and territory police. So they have provided assistance.
It's not a counter-terrorism matter, though, is it?
No, it's not. No, it's not a but again, in terms
aren't there joint foreign interference teams as well?
There is, but not with state police. So
right.
I think what I'm saying, Senator, our natural fit in the national security space is through those areas. Is there more to be done? Absolutely, and that's a focus for us moving forward.
Because this is a particularly insidious thing. I mean, it's trivially easy to do, to be completely offshore and be safe, create a fake email address in someone's name, send threatening emails, make sure it finds a way to police, and then take advantage of our resources against us. And they have targeted people who are dissidents, researchers, academics. Mr Phelan is an expert on Chinese Communist Party influence operations and has been public about his expertise. It's clearly why he was targeted. And, for the very low cost of setting up an email address, they've caused him significant distress.
Yes, like I've said, Senator, I think we've got 2 hours left, so I'll try and get some information back before then. If not, I'll absolutely take it on notice.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.